ābrahmastambaparyante bhūtagrāme caturvidhe vijñasyaiva hi sāmarthyam iccā anicchā vivarjane. ātmānamadvayaṃ kaścijjānāti jagadīśvaram yadvetti tatsa kurute bhayaṃ tasya kutracit.
Translation of the fifth verse. Of the four categories of existence, from Brahma down to a grass blade, it is the wise one alone who has the capacity to renounce desires and aversions. The four categories as per Upanishads, which includes and which covers the total world of beings dwelling in the surface of this globe, this is Acharya's commentary, fall under these four categories. One is Garbhaja, those that are born from the womb. Next, Andaja, those that are born from eggs. Third, Svedaja, those that are born from warm vapor or sweat. And the last, Udbija, those that are born of seeds or sprouting up. All these together indicate the entire world of beings that exist here amidst us. In order to indicate the entire cosmos, Janaka amplifies his statement and he says, from the creator down to a grass blade. That means everything is included. So he says, without exception in the creation, amongst everything in the creation, only the wise one, only the realized sage has the capacity to renounce desires and aversions. Unquote. In the entire creation, from the great creator Brahma to the most insignificant aspect of creation, which is symbolized here in this verse by a grass, a blade of grass. It is only the self-realized man of perfection who can move about in this world with no attachment or aversion. Till the time one gets realization, at least we can say that he has the desire to realize self. Or call it desire, call it craving. But once he attains realization, then He goes beyond even that craving for realization because he has crossed that duality between bondage and liberation. Having transcended this duality, he has no craving even for self-realization, which can be the last leftover craving or desire. For him, all are realized, all are divine, all are him, the pure self. There is no difference between him and the entire creation of beings. When there is no difference between him and all beings in the creation, he is self, all others are self. Therefore, self cannot attach to self, or self cannot be aversive to self. This is about all beings in the creation. Few more lines from the Acharya's commentary. In the entire cosmos of created beings, the man of realization alone is the sole being who has in him the unique capacity to renounce all his desire and aversions. These two feelings represent the entire activities of the mind. The man of perfection alone is the one who has gone beyond his mind. And hence, this uniqueness in him, there is no ego in him, and therefore he does not react to the external world in terms of likes and dislikes, or in terms of desires and aversions. And now, to the translation of the 6th verse. ātmānamadvayaṃ kaścijjānāti. Rare indeed is the one who knows the self as one without a second and as Lord of the universe. He does what comes to his mind and has no fears from any quarters. The translation is, he knows the self as one without a second, and he knows the self as the Lord of the universe. A grand declaration. Therefore, as Lord of the universe, he does what comes to his mind. He has no fears at all. Let us see this declaration of as Lord of the self as Lord of the universe. Only a realized Jivan Mukta can dare to say, I am the Lord of the universe in true sense. He says true sense because when a Jivan Mukta says thus, it is not his ego that says, I am the Lord of this universe. It is the self that announces in voiceless voice that it is the Lord of the universe, the Lord of even the Creator. the Lord who existed even before this creation emerged. And the Lord, with his mere will, caused this creation to emerge. And the Lord who will remain even when the creation retraces and folds in himself. All along, the Lord of the universe is not the Jivan Mukta with his physical identity. The Lord of the universe is the self that he exists as. Brahman as he exists as. See, even a filthy, egoistic, powerful, wealthy man or a politician can say, I am the Lord. But in his case, it is his ego which speaks so, based on his current situation. Whereas his current situation is subject to change, his body is subject to change, all his possessions, belongings, power, wealth are all temporary. Hence there is no truth when such jiva, where jiva is equal to ego, says, I am the Lord. I am the Lord of this house. I am the Lord of this village. I am the Lord of this country. I am the Lord of this world, etc. Thus, only the one who abides in the self is even qualified to say, I, the self, am the Lord of this creation. Few lines from Chinmaya's commentary to end this chapter. This is the last verse of the chapter. In this concluding stanza, the disciple discovers a daring courage in the depth of his own experienced sense of divinity as the self. He has realized himself not only as the one infinite self, but also the governor, the ruler, the controller, the Lord of universe of names and forms. Such an individual does whatever comes to his mind, meaning he fearlessly undertakes to do whatever he considers worth doing. Nothing low and base can ever come to molest his thoughts. Ever identified with the infinite, his inspired bosom overflows ever with his divinely brilliant and sweet thoughts for the benefit and glory of the world. He has no fear of criticism from any quarters. He is, unquote, he is fearless and he acts fearlessly because, as it was touched upon in yesterday's talk, which got uploaded yesterday morning, everything that he thinks or every act that emerges from him is out of inner intuition or inner command from God, from self, as self. So, when actions are undertaken purely based on the inner voice of God, one will not fear even death. Because his mind, it is not the dictate of his mind by which he is acting. If he is acting as per his mind can have the fear of the consequences of his actions. When he acts as self can have no fear at all. Even if any consequence happens, even if the body has to die, the self can have no fear at all. Hari Om Tatsa.